Okay, we're back. Merry Maniacs. Once again, we're back. We've kicked off Merry Maniacs here, and we're doing the next chapter in, of course, The Mandalorian, Chapter 5. And I don't remember what the title of this was, but yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. But it's Chapter 5 of The Mandalorian in the 8-chapter series on Disney+. And here we go.
My recap so far are the first 5. The first one I really liked. The second one I thought was okay. The third one blew my mind. The fourth one I thought was okay, even though it was a remake of something else. And this one, I gotta say, Vince, I'm gonna be completely honest here, is my least favorite one so far out of all of them.
Yeah, I almost agree with that.
I have lots of issues with this episode. First of all, it doesn't really have anything to do with pushing the story forward. The very last 3 seconds of the episode does, I guess, but the entire episode, there was no point, there was absolutely no point to anything that was going on in this episode. He lands, and this is something that upset my wife, Becky, was out of all the freaking planets of Star Wars, and it's been doing really good not to go to any known planets yet that was in the Star Wars universe. Where does he go to? Tatooine. He lands on Mos Eisley in this episode, of course.
Well, I didn't have an issue with that. But what I had an issue with this episode was that this was blatantly a bridge episode. I mean, it was even more of a bridge episode than the second one. And, you know, the last one, you even mentioned that the last one was kind of a bridge episode, but this one was blatantly one. I mean, it was more than obvious that it's giving something, but you don't really find out toward, and I'm not trying to give it away, but you don't really find out toward the last half of the episode that it's giving way to the next chapter. Overall, though, it wasn't completely terrible. I didn't think it was all that bad. It was like, okay, it's giving, I think it's giving a little more to some kind of backstory for another character that they're going to bring in. So,
yeah, I mean, it literally had nothing to do with pushing the story forward. It didn't. It was... The basic story here for episode 5 was Mando is what they're calling him now. And every time they say it, I always think of Lando. But Mando shows up on his planet with Baby Yoda because his ship gets blown up. And he parks in the hangar, I'm assuming the same hangar the Millennium Falcon was in.
Same place, different hangar.
Well, whatever. So, anyway, so it was kind of cool. This eggnog has given me like hiccups, so I had no eggnog left because I drank it all in the last review. Anyway, giving me gas, I think, or something.
No,
once it starts getting foggy in here, you know, you'd be like, what's going on over there? I'll be like, eggnog.
Eggnog.
So anyway, he gets to this planet, and this guy shows up, and he's like, I want to be part of the guild. I want to be part of the bounty hunters. I've never gone out and hunted anybody before. And Mando's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he kind of convinces Mando to go out with him to hunt down this bounty hunter. And that's what the story's about, is the two of them are going out and hunting down, well, not a bounty hunter, they're hunting down somebody, you know, for the bounty. And let me say this before I say anything else. I thought all of the acting was horrendous in this episode. From the woman that he gives Baby Yoda to especially this new guy. I hope to God this new guy is not in through this whole series. He was worse actor. If it's possible, he was a worse actor than Anakin Skywalker. I want to be the best Jedi ever. It was like that. Horrible, horrible acting.
Well, I didn't care for his acting.
Are we going to try to love each other?
Huh?
I think my acting there was actually better. It convinced you than Anakin. I'm doing pretty good.
You almost convinced me.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Ever.
But no, this guy's acting was not good. I agree with you. He was not good. But as far as the docking bay lady there that ends up picking up Baby Yoda, she did what she was there to do. So I can't necessarily say that she was terrible. It's just that she was there to do what she had to do, that part. So that wasn't great. But what I did like, though, is they did, of course, keep showing stuff that we all remember from the original trilogy, and that was like actually the prequel trilogy, because they showed the pit droids. They have the pit droids back in.
I hate those. It's my least favorite droids in any of the Star Wars. I hate those things.
I thought it was kind of cool to have them in it. And then, of course, he goes back to the cantina, which is now apparently being run by the droid from Jabba the Hutt's dungeon. But I thought might have blown up on the sail barge, but I guess not. Or maybe he survived. And then, of course, they showed that, well, it was probably a different droid, but it was R5-D4 come rolling by in one scene. And it's kind of weird that they had droids in the cantina, because if you remember the cantina scene from the original Star Wars, droids weren't allowed in the cantina, so that was kind of odd. So things have definitely changed on Mos Eisley.
There was two of my favorite scenes in this episode. Was that robot. I've always loved that robot because he's just weird looking. He's one of the weirdest, I think, one of the weirdest looking robots in the Star Wars universe. He's just, I don't know, it's just a bizarre looking robot. And even the action figure is cool looking. And then one of my favorite things in the Star Wars universe is speeder bikes. I've always loved a speeder bike. I can never imagine just getting on that thing and just going 500 miles an hour. It would be one of the coolest things ever. Ever! And
it wasn't quite as convincing this time.
I was waiting for this guy to say that to Mando. Mando, are we going to try to love each other?
I think it would destroy our lives.
He's holding me back.
I did like the other scene with the Tusken Raiders.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That was pretty cool.
That was really interesting.
Yeah, I actually got a Lego Tusken Raider right in front of me. Here he is. Boom. It might be kind of small. And it actually has hang on. I have the land speeder right here too, a C-3PO one. So I got it sitting on my desk. And when I sit here and do the reviews, I sit there and I play with this guy all the time because I like the bumps on his head.
I mean, you love the bumps on his head.
I do. I love his bumps on his head, and I love the Lego. So yeah, it's Tusken Raider. I'm
just going to say real quick here that I'm going to give this episode a definite 2 out of 5.
Yeah, me too. I might give it a 2.5, but we don't have a 2.5, so I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 as well, just because of the speeder bikes in it and some of the cool things in there. But it was not a good episode, so yes, a 2 out of 5. So that's it. That's episode 5 for The Mandalorian, and we are slowly getting caught up here. We only have a couple more episodes to go. So if you would, hit that subscribe button, become one of the Maniacs, because we'll be back on here next week with episode 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to end this thing at the end of December after we actually see the new Star Wars film. And you don't want to miss it. So keep tuned, and we will keep bringing you The Mandalorian forever.